From South Korean football star Heung-min's first goal since his transfer from Tottenham Hotspur to Los Angeles FC, to a K-pop star on the baseball field, and a highly anticipated visit by a foreign football team here in Korea. Now, we have all the exciting highlights from the world of K-Sports with our sportscaster Jason Lee joining us in the studio. Hello, Jason.
Hello, Jason. Hello.
So, Heung-min. Last time we talked about him, it was when he made that transfer to the Major League Soccer, and now he's already making a huge impact with his debut goal. So, please tell us about that first goal and also his play so far.
Yeah, he has been fantastic so far. Of course, this week he did score his first goal indeed. It was a beautiful free kick from just outside the penalty box to give LAFC an early 1-0 lead against FC Dallas. Now, unfortunately, LAFC would concede a goal shortly after that, and the game ended up being a 1-1 draw in the end. But I've got to say, Heung-min has looked impressive in the 3 games that I've seen him playing so far. Of course, he earned his team a penalty shot in the first game against Chicago. He also assisted on a goal in a 2-0 win over the New England Revolution. So, you know, it was really one of those assists in particular in that game that he probably could have just scored the goal himself. But, you know, he made the more unselfish pass to ensure the goal would be scored rather than having a good chance to score the goal himself. So it just kind of shows what kind of player that he is. Very unselfish, looking for the best result for his team. So far, 3 games, 3 different ways that he's contributed, and he's really becoming one of the most popular athletes in Los Angeles already. And in fact, just a few hours ago this morning, Korean time, or we could say in the evening in Los Angeles, he threw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium as the LA Dodgers were hosting the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
Right, and they are actually doing much better than their rivals, LA Galaxy. They're currently sitting 5th on the West Coast region. And to be honest with you, it's actually a shame that Son didn't get more free kicks during his 10 years at Spurs, because during that time, Kane or Eriksson was the main free kicker. He actually only scored 1 goal as a free kicker.
As a penalty kicker.
Or a free kicker too.
Yeah, right.
A free kicker at Spurs. That was in, I believe, against Watford in the 2021-2022 season, around there. But he has scored 6 for the national team. So hopefully he gets more free kicks or chances for free kicks at the LAFC, where he's able to do more and be more versatile than what he was at Spurs. But talking more about that, the pitch at the Dodgers Stadium. Earlier this week, we did talk a little bit about this superstar being V from BTS, throwing the first pitch as well. What were your thoughts about that, seeing a K-pop star getting the chance to throw a first pitch at one of the biggest stadiums, Dodger Stadium, in America, the US?
Yeah, without a doubt. Certainly, anytime you have any Korean star throwing out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium, you know that, first off, they're going to receive very warm welcome. And certainly V of BTS, he threw out the first pitch when the Dodgers hosted the Cincinnati Reds on Monday, their time. That would have been Tuesday morning in Korea. And, I was watching a little bit of this, and I didn't actually realize that V was actually a lefty. He's a left-hander. So he wore number 7 with his Dodgers uniform that they gave to him. And I wonder, is 7 his favorite number? Did he wear 7 because there's 7 members of BTS, maybe, or something like that?
Maybe he's a fan of Heung-min?
Heung-min? Oh, yeah, it could have been. I mean, he would have known that Heung-min was throwing out the first pitch 2 days later. So, yeah, that could have been something as well. And also, before the game, V was spotted chatting things up with Shohei Ohtani as well. So certainly, I think a thrill for both of them. Shohei gets to talk with V. V gets to talk with Shohei as well. So I think a great opportunity for everyone involved. And also for the Dodgers, they get to sell some extra tickets to BTS fans wanting to get an in-person look at V. So I'm sure a lot of people were thrilled that got to go in there and get an in-person look at him rather than just seeing on TV or on videos. One last thing I do want to mention about the Dodgers, though. is that Kim Il-sung has been on the injury list for about the last month with a shoulder injury. He has recently started a rehab assignment in AAA, so hopefully he'll be back with the Dodgers pretty soon. I think he's played 6 games up until this morning. He's hitting .273 over those 6 games, so maybe he'll be ready to join the team in a game or 2, hopefully.
Let's wish the best. And actually, I have also been wondering about that 7 that V was wearing. And actually, if I'm correct, the game actually ended 7-0 for the Dodgers.
For the Dodgers.
So maybe that was a kind of a forecast he made.
He's a prognosticator.
Maybe. But Jason, let's fly over to Korea now and baseball here. The KBO has become so popular that the attendance has surpassed 10 million in the shortest span ever, even breaking last year's record.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us about the record-breaking season.
How about that? And I mean, I've got to say that, you know, so many crazy things have gone on with the KBO in recent seasons. And I think what's really special is I think a lot of people thought that losing star players like Lee Jung-hoo, Kim Il-sung, Kim Ha-sung recently to Major League Baseball would have, you know, dropped attendance because you're losing your biggest stars to Major League Baseball. You would think that the attendance figures would have gone down. But despite the fact, you know, losing some of the biggest stars being departed over to Major League Baseball, they have been as strong as ever in terms of attendance. And as you mentioned, last season, the KBO broke attendance records, surpassing 10 million fans in doing so after 671 games, while this year they reached the milestone in just 587 games. So it's looking more and more like they should be able to set an all-time attendance record. 10.9, just under 10.9 mil from last season is the record. And I think there's a good chance that they break 11 million, and who knows how much further they go on the way things are going. The only downside that I would say is, and I'm not saying that there's no official news or word of this. This is just my rationale thinking is, you know, you think that the league, there's a good chance that it's becoming this popular, this many sellouts, then it's only natural that ticket prices should probably go up. I think it's the most logical thing to happen. Again, I'm not saying that it should or I want this to happen. It just makes sense that they're having so many sellouts this year. And it's not just one club. I think like 6 or 7 clubs are breaking their own attendance records as well. So it's a league-wide thing. Don't be surprised if ticket prices go up just because attendance is so strong.
Uh-oh, I've seen a number of times when, Jason, you mentioned something on air and made some predictions and it came true.
It seems to happen, yeah.
Let's hope those ticket prices actually are more like invested in the expansion of stadiums rather than just seeing like the ticket prices just go up for investors' point of view.
A better experience overall for everyone, ideally.
Exactly, exactly. And though domestically tickets are selling out like hotcakes, there is another event coming up that is being finalized, and that is the Korea versus Brazil. That's actually something that is now being confirmed. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, talk about a hot ticket or a ticket that's tough to get. That might even be expensive. October the 10th, mark it on your calendar. It's the first time Brazil is visiting Korea in 3 years. And of course, come on, Brazil, always one of the most popular soccer teams that everybody wants to see. That game will take place at Seoul's World Cup Stadium in Sangam at 8 p.m. And just 4 days later, on the 14th, Korea will host Paraguay as well. That game had actually already been announced, but it's now confirmed that that game will also be played at the Seoul World Cup Stadium. And we have 2 games that Korea is going to be hosting. Meanwhile, they do have a couple of games that they're going to play before that, as they have their friendlies in the U.S. that on September the 7th, just a couple of weeks away. And they also play in Mexico 3 days after that on September the 10th. Those games should be a good opportunity to get the feel of the field conditions in both the U.S. and Mexico, as of course they're going to be hosting the World Cup next summer along with Canada. So certainly a couple of strategic friendlies that the KFA and Heung-min has planned out to go over to North America. And they're going to have some really good competition when they host Brazil and Paraguay.
Looking forward to those games. And speaking of the World Cup, in preparations for those games in North America, head coach Heung-min has made a very unique decision. He's got a new person in his team, and it's a person who's of mixed heritage and was born outside of Korea, a country that I'm very familiar of. So tell us about this player and his significance.
Certainly. I guess you'll be able to pronounce his name better than me as well in German. Of course, you're talking about Jens Kastrop, who is half German. He was born in Dusseldorf in 2003 to a German father, while his mother is Korean. So he has dual citizenship, German and Korean. At the youth level, he's represented Germany, but he recently switched his loyalty to Korea. And once he does play his first game for the senior team, he actually won't be able to represent Germany once again. So this is a very big decision for him to make. And in terms of his style of play, he's kind of a defensive midfielder. He's very rugged. He's a ferocious defender. I think if you remember watching Kim Na-mil in the 2002 World Cup, I think that's the best Korean comparison I can make of his style of play. Like, he's an attacker that's going to really intimidate people and make them think twice about dancing with the ball through the middle of the field.
Looking very much forward to his play, and we'll keep an eye on his play. And thank you for keeping an eye on all the sports issues. We're going to add something, Jason?
No, I was just going to say, I'm actually really hoping, because he's on the roster so far, but we don't know yet what the starting lineup's going to be for the games in the U.S. and Mexico. So I'm just hoping that he actually gets some playing time, because I'd really like to see how he fits into the whole chemistry of the team going forward. Because it is a new person. It's his first time ever playing for Korea. So I'm actually really excited to have a look at him.
Same here. Well, thank you very much, Jason, for those updates, and see you next time.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jason.
And thank you, Walter, as always. So we're going to see you back here next week.
See you next week.